Hey, stop scrolling for a second. I need to ask you something really personal. When was the last time someone asked you, "Hey, are you okay?" And you said, "Yeah, I'm fine," but you were absolutely, completely, 100% not fine? Yeah, that pause right there, that's what this whole video is about. Because here's the wild thing. You've done it, I've done it, every single person watching this has looked someone in the eye, smiled, and lied through their teeth about how they were really feeling. And the crazy part? We didn't even feel bad about it. We felt safe. Why? Why do we do this? Why do humans, these emotional, complicated, deeply feeling creatures, spend so much energy hiding the very thing that makes them human? That's what we're diving into today. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you are going to understand yourself and the people around you in a way you never did before. So grab your chai, your coffee, your emotional support snack, and let's get into it. Part 1. The lie we all agree to tell. Let me paint you a picture. It's Monday morning, you walk into work or college, you haven't slept properly in 3 days, your head is heavy, your chest feels tight, and honestly, you cried in the shower this morning. Not a cute single tear, full, ugly cry, the kind where you're basically one with the bathroom tiles. And then someone walks up to you, smiles, and goes, "Hey, how are you?" And without even thinking, without even blinking, your mouth opens and says, "Good, I'm good, how are you?" And you both walk away. Both lying, both exhausted, both completely fine with it. This is what I call the social contract of fakeness, and we all signed it. Nobody forced us, nobody even explained the terms. We just accepted it somewhere between childhood and adulthood and never questioned it again. But here's what I want you to think about. Why? Why did we sign this contract? Why did hiding our feelings become the default instead of the exception? Because if you think about it, it makes zero logical sense. We are emotional beings. We have these huge feelings: grief, loneliness, anger, anxiety, love. Feelings so big they can literally affect our health, our sleep, our relationships. And yet, we smile and say we're fine. So let's talk about why. Part 2. It started way before you think. Here's where it gets interesting, and honestly, a little heartbreaking. The reason most of us hide our feelings didn't start last year. It didn't start in your last relationship. It started when you were like 6 years old, maybe younger. Think about this. You're a little kid. Maybe you're in a crowded family gathering, or maybe you just got yelled at for something and you start crying. And what happens? Some well-meaning adult, could be a relative, a teacher, anyone, looks at you and says something like, "Stop crying, you're fine," or "Don't be so sensitive," or the classic, "Big kids don't cry." And in that moment, your little brain registers something very important. It learns, my feelings are inconvenient. My feelings are too much. My feelings make people uncomfortable. And so you do what any smart, adaptable human does. You tuck those feelings away. You put them in a little box. You smile and pretend you're okay, because that's what gets approval. That's what makes the room comfortable again. And you keep doing it, and doing it, and doing it, until it's not even a choice anymore. It's just who you are. This is called emotional suppression. And researchers have found that a lot of people, especially those who grew up in homes where emotions weren't openly expressed, carry this habit well into adulthood without even realizing it. You're not broken. You're not weak. You were just trained by life, by people, by 100 little moments that taught you, keep it inside. It's safer that way. Part 3. The fear nobody talks about. Okay, so now that we know it started in childhood, let's talk about what keeps it going. Because here's the truth. Even as adults, even when we know that hiding feelings isn't healthy, we still do it. And the reason is something very simple, very human, and very terrifying. Fear of judgment. Let me explain with a story. Imagine your friend. Let's call him Rahul. Rahul is the funny one in the group, always making jokes, always laughing, always the life of the party. Everyone loves Rahul, but inside, he's struggling. He's been feeling really low for months. He feels like life has no direction, like he's faking happiness every day, like nobody really sees him. One day, Rahul almost opens up to a friend. He starts saying, "Hey man, I've been feeling kinda, not great lately." And his friend, phone in hand, half distracted, goes, "Aw man, same. Work is crazy, right? Anyway, bro, did you see the match last night?" And just like that, the window closes. Rahul smiles, says, "Yeah, crazy, right?" And the moment passes. Now, was the friend a bad person? No. Was he deliberately dismissive? No. But Rahul learned something in that moment. He learned that even when you try to open up, sometimes the world isn't ready to receive it. And that risk, the risk of being vulnerable and being met with nothing, that risk feels worse than just staying silent. This is the fear of emotional exposure. And it's one of the biggest reasons people hide their feelings, not because they don't want to express, but because they've been dismissed before. They've been made to feel like their feelings were too much or unnecessary drama. And once that happens enough times, you stop trying. You become an expert at being okay, even when you're not. Part 4. The mask we wear and the price we pay. Now let's talk about something that most people never connect, the physical cost of hiding your feelings. Because most of us think, oh, it's fine, I'll just deal with it later, I'll process it someday, I'm handling it. But here's what science says. When you suppress emotions, especially repeatedly over time, your body doesn't just ignore them, it stores them, literally, in your nervous system, in your muscles, in your gut. There's a reason people say they have a gut feeling or that stress gives them a stomachache or a headache. Your body is keeping receipts, even when your brain is pretending everything is fine. Studies have found that chronic emotional suppression is linked to higher levels of cortisol, that's the stress hormone, which over time can affect your immune system, your sleep, your blood pressure, and even your heart health. Emotional hiding isn't just a psychological thing, it's a physical thing. And there's something else. You know how sometimes out of absolutely nowhere, maybe you're just watching a movie or a random song comes on, and you suddenly feel this rush of emotion you can't explain, like you start crying and you're not even sure why. That's not random. That's your body releasing the feelings you've been storing. That's all those unexpressed emotions finding a crack and leaking out. Because feelings, no matter how hard you try to suppress them, always find a way out. Always. The only question is whether they choose when and how, or you do. Part 5. The specific reasons. Let's get into it. Okay, so by now we've talked about childhood conditioning, fear of judgment, and physical suppression. But let's get more specific, because there are actually several really distinct reasons why different people hide their feelings, and they're all fascinating. Reason number 1. I don't want to be a burden. This one hits so many people, especially the caregivers, the strong ones, the people everyone else relies on. You know the type. Maybe you are this type. The person in every friend group who everyone calls when they're struggling, who's always available, always supportive, always knows what to say. And nobody, literally nobody, ever asks how you are doing, because you seem so together. And when you are struggling, you don't say anything because you think, who am I to complain? My problems aren't as bad as theirs. They have real issues. I don't. I don't want to put this on them. So you carry it alone and smile and ask about everyone else's problems and slowly, quietly fill up with all the things you never said. If this is you, I want you to hear something. Being a burden is not the same as being human. Everyone needs to lean sometimes. The people who love you want you to let them in. You not sharing your pain isn't protecting them. It's actually keeping them from being able to love you fully. Reason number 2. I've been hurt before. Some people hide their feelings because they opened up once, really opened up, and got burned. Maybe they trusted someone with their heart and that person used it against them. Maybe they were vulnerable and the other person left because someone later mocked them for it. Pain has a memory, and emotional hurt has one of the strongest memories of all. When your openness has been weaponized before, when your vulnerability has been met with mockery, betrayal, or abandonment, your brain does what it's designed to do. It protects you. It says, never again. And you build walls.
Not because you're cold or damaged or too closed off, but because last time you had no walls, someone walked in and destroyed everything. The problem is, those walls don't just keep the bad people out, they keep the good people out too. And slowly, the wall becomes a prison. Reason number 3, I don't even know what I'm feeling. This one surprises people, but it's incredibly common. A lot of people don't hide their feelings because they're choosing to hide them. They hide them because they genuinely can't identify them. There's actually a word for this, alexithymia, which is difficulty identifying and describing your own emotions. And it's way more common than you'd think. Lots of people, when they feel bad, can't tell you if they're sad, angry, scared, disappointed, lonely, or some specific cocktail of all 5. So when someone asks, "How do you feel?"